Hello.
Hi.
This is a good start. Okay,
Whoops.
so...
I keep accidentally resetting on the practice card.
So, Switch to Yoshi is the best category in Super Mario World. It's when you have to hit all the Switch Palaces, but you have to hit the Switch Palace while riding a Yoshi, and the Yoshi has to be the same color as the Switch Palace. For example, you have to hit the green Switch in Green Switch Palace while riding a green Yoshi. And it is the best run ever because it includes, like, a bunch
All the
of
tricks.
cool tricks, and then it's not too long, and it has orbs, and it has clips, and it has wings and everything.
Are you ready to go?
I am ready whenever you are.
Okay, I'll count down. 3, 2, 1, go.
Disco Jump. I win.
I got Ghost Jump.
Disco Jump is better than Phantom Jump, so I'm sorry.
Private Eyeball, I think we're gonna have to ban you for calling this a meme category. This is the exclusive best category, so I don't know what you're talking about.
That is really loud. I can turn that off soon.
Hey, I got Fast Yoshi.
And I did not.
Right there, that's a one-frame trick, kind of, where you hit the shell hit the shell into the block as Mario's head hits the block. You dupe Yoshi, and since there's 2 Yoshis, he comes out in half the time. Saves half a second. So yeah, right after this level, we're immediately going to go and grab our first orb. So for anyone who doesn't know, the orb is what's used at the end of Sunken Ghost Ship to beat the level, and we're going to glitch it into our item box by eating a clap and chuck, which you're not supposed to eat.
The classic item swap. We'll be getting 4 of these during the run. All in the same level. Hopefully, yeah. We'll be trying to get 4.
The last 3 of them will be... each one is immediately after a save. I did not get the orb! What in the world?
Did you crash?
That's fine. No, I didn't crash.
Okay.
I just missed the orb. Even though I just practiced it like 30 million times. So I missed the first orb, which means I'll only lose... well... should I go back in? I wonder if it would be faster. Since we have to go back in and get the midway later anyway.
I'm not
I think
sure.
it might... I think it actually would be.
That's a good question.
Because I think this would still be faster than the Iggy autoscroller. Well, that's a good start to the run.
Yeah, by the way, Seathorn just set the world record in this category, like
30 minutes ago.
You got, what, 25?
51.
Which was the first sub 26.
Okay. Well, I got orb now, and now I already have the midway prepared for the next time I come in. So I would say that might have been a 30-second loss, which can easily be made up later.
I can easily
assuming
make
Dots
like a minute
messes,
of mistake
yeah.
really easily, especially later on in the run. So this is one of the only categories where running on the US version is faster, and that is because of a cape that exists only on the English version in Vanilla Dome 1. In the Japanese, if you were playing on the Japanese version, what you'd do is, after beating the second castle, you'd backtrack for a cape, because it doesn't exist in Vanilla Dome 1, but in the US version, it just happens to be in that level. And here is what the orb does, if you're not familiar. You just dump it out of your item box, and you touch it, and you beat the level.
This is also one of the only categories where you run through World 1 with Yoshi. So, like earlier I was refamiliarizing myself with this run, and I kept doing tricks like you would when you don't have Yoshi, or doing jumps.
And here, after this first castle, we go back for the second orb. Make sure to hit the midway like C mentioned earlier. That way when we come back for yet another orb, start halfway through the level.
So yeah, I lost 30 seconds in this Iggy split, but I already have the midway, so it's actually less than a 30-second time loss. That's actually not that bad. That's probably the most... Actually, I guess it doesn't matter where you miss the orb, if you miss one. You didn't miss the first switch, Louis.
Yeah, the first switch
unless you're kidding about me accidentally entering Yellow Switch Palace.
Yeah, so there's no easy way to kill yourself in the Yellow Switch Palace. So if you accidentally enter that one,
you have to reset.
Basically have to reset. That is if you enter it without Yellow Yoshi, since...
And I entered it in 2 runs today without Yellow Yoshi. The rest of the 3 Switch Palaces have enemies in them, so you can die to get out of it more quickly.
Alright, here's our second level of the orb. Donut Plains 2, it is an auto-scroller, so it's just easier to skip it.
Whoa, that was sketchy. Right at the end, I usually do a full jump off of that green pipe and bounce off of the lotus, but I accidentally slipped off the pipe and lost P-speed.
So in Donut Plains 2, like, you'll see I didn't just ditch the orb and grab it immediately. There's a Buzzy Beetle later on that if you run into the Buzzy Beetle during that, like, parade animation, Yoshi runs away, and we need Yoshi for the green switch. So you have to set the enemies up just right so that the bat flies down from the ceiling and makes the Buzzy Beetle turn around and walk.
I got it as well.
It's actually kind of interesting. Like,
you would never think to do it if you were trying to orb this level casually.
Yeah.
Which is why you usually lose Yoshi there if you do it without planning. I'm now using my special mashing skills to jackhammer Yoshi into the ceiling over and over, because there's nothing else to do.
You can see my inferior mashing skills, as I can only, like, do it twice. Oh, did not get the flight into the pipe.
Yeah, I say trying to do the level casually, and also having orb, which are kind of not things that happen, but...
Alright, and here's the first Switch Palace of the run, Green Switch Palace.
Wow.
Gump!
You got a gump?
Got a gump. Of course, these Switch Palace cutscenes take longer in the US version, so that's fun.
Yeah, you do lose time from that.
Green? Green is my favorite color!
I did not get a gump, sadly.
Alright, and then after that we go back for our next orb.
So, I'm only 18 seconds behind right now. Time to go back for the third orb. I think this category, out of any that I've run, has the highest concentration of orbs, like, right at the beginning. You get 3 orbs in the first 9 minutes. Then you get 1 in, what, like 12 minutes or something? 16 minutes?
Something like that.
Okay, I got the orb. So, one thing that's interesting about this run is that you have like a good mixture of cape and no cape strats, which is pretty unique for a run. because really, if capes are allowed, the only time you would be using no cape is in orb runs, where you have to keep Fire Flower for the orbs.
You have to keep Fire Flower, because if you try to grab a cape, then the orb gets overwritten by the Fire Flower that you have.
Yeah.
So you can't switch, unless you die, which is used.
So yeah, it's kind of like, while you have an orb in reserve, you do no cape strats, and then as soon as you use the orb, you kind of get a cape and do some cape strats. So it gives you some practice with different types of strats.
Donut Plains 3 and 4 are like the boring part of the run, because you just fly over them.
Yeah. I mean, Donut Plains 3 still has, like, the early P-speed at the beginning, but you do that in most categories. And then Donut Plains 4 also has some early P-speed you can get. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah, I got it.
You're nice.
I almost hit the fire. I almost hit the piranha plant, actually.
Yeah, I have been messing that up a lot lately, so I'm gonna go for it.
But yeah, after this, we're gonna use our next orb. And the next one has a slight risk to it. I actually lost a run to it earlier today. Because you can actually drop the orb right in the middle of the ceiling, where you can't reach it. And it's pretty useless then.
Yeah, I don't know, C's probably gonna do the same thing. Grab the orb a little bit further into the first room. You can actually grab the orb right away by spin jumping off of the thwimp.
I don't do that. That's way too risky, because if you get hit by the thwimp as you try to do that, then the orb will fall on the ceiling part where you can't get it. Now we're going to attempt to do VD1 wings, and this level is the reason that we are on the US cart, is so we can grab this cape, because otherwise we would have to go back into DP3 to grab a cape. Oh no, dude! Okay, well, I guess I'm getting secret exit first.
My wings weren't very pretty, but I did get them.
I grabbed the coin before the block stopped spinning. Which is a classic way to mess up wings. Doesn't happen often, but... Now let's see if I can get some 81 wings. Since I'm coming in with cape. I don't even know if I remember my strats for this.
Muscle memory. Right, and first try clip and vanilla down 2. That's good. But then we don't go into red switch, that's bad. We don't have our Yoshi yet. So
I got 69 wings.
It's not too bad.
So that's just a very small time loss, just from having to walk on the path twice. That's probably less than a 10-second time loss overall. Since I kept Yoshi. And of course I'm messing up VD2 clip. Like normal. VD2 clip is, personally, the hardest part of this category. And any category that goes through VD2. Dude, come on! I keep going one frame too early.
It's a bad trick. Nobody likes it.
Stop! Oh my goodness, get through! I cannot get in the wall. This is like at least 10 attempts. Finally got in. Man, that was terrible.
I need that blue Yoshi.
The world record that I just got had second try. I know, Louis. Once you mess it up once, like... Wait, I just entered Red Switch Palace, now I gotta die. I'm not thinking about anything. This is exactly what wasn't supposed to happen.
You're supposed to pay attention to not enter yellow switch, and instead you entered red switch.
Oh man. I need someone to remind me not to enter the switch palaces, like really. I'm gonna like be super slow and get power-ups here.
Alright, so we come to Star World 4 because it's the quickest way to get a red Yoshi. It's kind of an interesting mix between the no cape and the cape strap for this level.
Steven, I need you to remind me not to enter the switch palaces. Actually, it doesn't matter anymore. That was like the last one that would have been bad to enter. Okay, well hopefully the rest of my run will be pretty good. It's just so, like... It's just muscle memory that when you climb up Kappa Mountain to the yellow switch, or when you go through VD2 to the red switch, you just normally are mashing to enter it. In pretty much any category, like 96, 95, all switches. So, if you're not specifically thinking about not entering, your muscle memory just takes over and makes you enter.
Alright, second switch palace, the red switch. Rump!
Nice. That's 2 for 2 yumps.
2 for 2.
On you, I have 0 for 0. I mean, 0 for 1.
Red? Red is my favorite color.
I wanted to do this, but I'm not gonna get to because you're taking them all. Gump plus rump equals grump.
Oh, let's just, alright, let's just keep... We got this, this is okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. It's good. Didn't need Yoshi anyway, I was supposed to get rid of him.
Did you lose him in VS1 trying to do your new strat?
No, actually, I just messed up normally, like, trying to get on that little tiny platform.
Wow.
But that's okay. That was, I wouldn't consider that VS1 spaghetti, so that's fine. Alright,
VS1 is one of the easiest levels to have spaghetti in. I don't know why. It's just like... It's pretty unique as a vertical level. There's a bunch of back and forth flight in it. It's just really easy to mess up.
Yeah, and then I switched to Fire Flower in VS1 so that I can feed Yoshi my cape, so that I can go get...
I wanted to do swag and bounce on all those guys, but didn't quite work out. I missed the rump, too.
Alright, and then we decided doing this switch palace first is better because you get a save point, so if you crash trying to do the orb, then you don't have to redo a bunch of levels.
Whoa!
I did not get the yump. You'll have to get the yump for me.
Okay. I think I can get that one, because I'll be... Well, I'm gonna actually have to feed Yoshi in a way that we don't usually feed him.
Yellow? Yellow is my favorite color!
So usually right here, I think you probably saw Dots do it, we would switch to Fire Flower and then feed Yoshi the cape. But since I don't have a Fire Flower from a mishap earlier, I'm gonna have to feed him some blocks. Whoops.
Alright. Got all the orbs, no problem.
Dude,
I hope I don't lose
that was
this one.
super slow.
This orb
There is a
the
fast way.
scariest one.
There's a trick called double eating, which is if you feed Yoshi 2 items with a little bit of time in between them, he counts it as 3 items. You can do a double eat and feed him only 3 blocks and he'll grow pretty quickly. Why not feed the mushroom? Because I forgot.
Yoshi doesn't like mushrooms. Alright, yeah, so like I was saying, this orb is one of the scarier ones to keep because there are... Vanilla Fort is kind of scary. Like, you get really close to enemies, and if just one little tiny nudge off, and you're gonna lose your orb because you get hit, your item automatically comes out of the item box. And then Butterbridge 1 is not a trivial level to orb because it's an auto-scroller, so...
I did a little bit of swag there in the yellow switch by grabbing the P-switch 4 times and recycling it. Ah, I missed the yump too!
No!
Oh.
Neither of us got the yump. I'm sorry to everybody.
We don't get grumpy.
We don't get grumpy.
But we still have a chance to get grumpy.
So VS3 was really similar to No Cape No Star World, but we don't need Yoshi anymore. Since we're going to grab a cape for Butterbridge 2, so we can just use him for an extra jump so we don't have to swim as much.
Yeah, you can also use him in BB1 to reach the orb a little bit faster if you don't feel safe like jumping up there or something. I used to use it for that.
Very careful not to hit the Doritos or the fish.
So yeah, one thing that's interesting about this category, this whole stretch of land is very similar to No Cape No Star World, which is good for us to practice because we actually have a No Cape No Star World tournament going on across the SMW community right now.
Alright, Reznor. Don't
Okay, thanks for the good luck, Resi.
We're good. That was a very tame Reznor.
Aw, that dolphin was just really early, so I slipped off.
Alright, Butterbridge 1. If I touch the wrong part of the orb, then I will die by getting crushed by the left side of the screen.
Yeah, you have to touch the orb either on the middle or on the right side in order to not get crushed. It's a pretty spooky 10 seconds of the fanfare.
Oh, okay, that was really close. I grabbed it really late, but I touched on the very right edge, so that wasn't too bad. But if Mario touches the right side of the screen during that, like, the fanfare, then he just dies.
Pretty much all the orbs have a different way of, like, being risky. Iggy's orb, you might not grab the cage correctly, and you'll fall in the lava. The DP2 orb, you have to get the bat to hit the Buzzy away from you. Morton orb, you have to make sure you don't drop it in the wall. And then the BB1 orb, you have to make sure you don't get crushed by the screen. But yeah, I would definitely say the most dangerous part of carrying the orb is what I'm about to do, which is Reznor.
Reznor throws a fireball in a bad spot, and your orb, your orb comes out of your inventory, and like it's not even a good spot to use the orb. Sometimes if you lose the orb, you might as well get it because like that's the end of the level, but you're already at the end of the level.
A useless spot. The rules of this category are just hit all 4 switches, and every time you hit a switch, you have to hit it with the same colored Yoshi.
A properly
so, like, yellow
drawn
switch.
Colored Yoshi. But yeah.
Also, I forgot to ditch Yoshi in VS3, so I just used him right there. Come on, let's not get crushed, please? Okay, there we go. You don't want Yoshi in BB2 because you want a cape.
And this is the only castle cutscene.
Whoa! Yeah, you could orb Ludwig to be faster, but the problem is walking back to get the orb would take more time than it actually saves. So that's why we don't do that. Which is one reason that the DP2 orb and the Morton orb, even though they save a lot of time, they actually only save like 10 seconds because you lose a bunch of time walking back to get them.
And normally the
in this category...
I was gonna say, the Butterbridge one usually also doesn't save that much time, but since we go back to Yellow Switch anyway, it does save quite a bit of time, like a minute or so.
Yeah, in this category you don't actually have to beat the game, it's just the switches.
Alright, now for the final switch, I need a blue Yoshi, and hopefully I can get some wings here to beat the level and turn my Yoshi into a blue Yoshi.
You can do a safe way of doing that by going back to Star World 2 and hatching a new Yoshi, but the trek back to Star World 2 loses about a minute.
Nice.
And getting the wings actually saves about 7 seconds in normal runs.
The way I just did wings probably didn't... Yeah. They probably wouldn't have saved time in a normal run because I did them so slowly, but I wanted to really make sure I got them, because if you miss those wings, you have to go back into the level.
Yeah, that's a really big time loss. Over a minute.
I'm pulling a Seathorn!
What are you doing? You can't clip?
I got on Yoshi too early. Like, I dropped him and I got on him before he went into the corner, somehow. And now I'm just not able to get in at all.
Just keep failing to clip for like the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm making the race close. Oh, okay, we just got it. We got it, we're fine. Don't drop Yoshi! So like, every category you get the clip and you immediately ditch Yoshi so you can grab this turn block right here to swim faster, but ditching Yoshi here is a really bad thing to do.
You'd have to go get another Yoshi and get more wings to turn him blue again.
I know I've lost at least one run doing that.
I've lost, yeah.
Alright, time is when I hit the switch. Hit the blue switch.
Okay, I got first try wings. A 59 is optimal for my strats. I bet you could get a 60, but those were some good wings. So now let's see if we can get a first try clip.
Bump!
Nice! So we got Grump B.
Grump B.
I think we might need some B emoji in the chat.
Blue? Blue is my favorite color. I'm sad that I had to do all those.
I know. I just had a pretty poor run in the early and mid game, so you were always one step ahead. I did get the clip, and I did not ditch Yoshi, so I'm just making my way underneath this level.
Sadly, slowly swimming.
Yep. You can eat these Rip Van fish to alleviate the game from its suffering of lag, but it's a little bit risky because you might go in bounds and you might hit the fish and drop your Yoshi.
Actually, going in bounds is really hard there because your hitbox is giant, but yeah, if you accidentally touch one of those guys, Yoshi runs away, and then that's really bad.
Swagging out in the Switch Palace again.
Oh yeah, I never got to see what your swag was. I'm watching it right now.
Bump.
Dude, nice.
I got my first yump of this run. Also, the blue block is completely covering Mario and Yoshi.
Dude, that was some pretty neat swag there.
Recycle swag. Remember to recycle. So yeah, that's pretty much the run.
That is Switch to Yoshi. It is the best category. No arguments. Objectively the best. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and thank you to the Speedrun to Change the World people for having us.
Yep.
Whoever those people may be.
I wonder who they are.
Right, thanks for that run, guys.
No problem. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, up next
So
we have...
Yeah, who's up next?
Up next we have TGH with Die, that's D-Y-E, all caps.
That's pretty rude.
Die, smiley face.
Yeah, and as for commentary, he's actually going to have one of the co-devs of the game, so that should be pretty cool to see.
That's really neat.
It's like a GDQ dev commentary.
Yeah, so we're just going to take a brief break and then move into that run.
Cool. Thank you guys for watching.
Thanks for racing.